They're moving. They're pretty much not loading trucks up and just driving trucks all across the country empty, not giving enough time to load them up with anything. So like things are being spoiled. People are leaving the medication. All just leave empty trucks. If Phil played this crazy clip, it's pretty wild what's happening at the post office.
That's not efficiency. That's insanity.
Fireworks in Congress today.
This as Congressman Jim Cooper cites an exclusive News Channel 5 investigation while grilling the head of the U.S. Postal Service.
Just this morning, excellent reporting from Nashville's Channel 5 TV proves that Nashville's mail trucks are being forced to leave on schedule, even when completely empty. 53-foot trucks forced to travel hundreds completely empty due to your so-called reform.
Investigative reporter Ben Hall has the investigation that's getting national attention and shows us why empty postal trucks are being run across the country.
This when you think it's not another problem with the post office.
The only change that I made to them was that the trucks leave on time.
Postmaster General Louis DeJoy defended his cost-cutting measures in Senate
he's a
testimony
scumbag.
Friday.
He needs to be accountable for what he's
most
doing.
proud of his cuts to transportation that require postal trucks to leave sorting facilities on time each day.
Trucks leave empty.
But postal workers in Nashville say DeJoy's new mandate is not practical and is having unintended consequences.
They leave completely empty. We pay
intended
to travel, say, to Memphis, Tennessee, a 53-foot trailer with no mail on it.
Joe Jolly is with the Postal Union in Nashville and says DeJoy's new policy will not allow holding a truck for even 5 minutes so it can be loaded with mail. Now, he says express mail and priority mail are often left sitting on the docks.
That is very important mail. Cremated remains, legal documents.
Cremated remains? Oh my God.
Guaranteed delivery.
Well, the video was late because the post office.
In June, the Postal Service's Inspector General
The history books
issued a
are going to
report on the
be really
transportation
harsh
system,
on us.
which stated, during our site visits, we observed mail processing operations not processing mail timely and not enough dock personnel moving the mail. This caused mail to miss its last scheduled transportation trip, which led to management calling extra trips and using driver overtime.
What?
The Inspector General
That sounds
found
like
those
such a
delays
mess.
resulted in 5 million late trips last year.
I can't understand what this
$400
happened in that
million.
description.
So Postmaster DeJoy is now requiring every truck to keep to its schedule, even if it's empty.
If they are scheduled to leave, say, at 7 a.m., they leave at 7 a.m. Mail or no mail.
Trip tickets obtained by News Channel 5 Investigates show an empty truck left Nashville's sorting facility Friday at 6:01 a.m. on its way to Carroll Stream, Illinois. The ticket shows it left early for the 500-mile trip, even though it had no mail. On the same day, another truck bound for Memphis left 10 minutes early.
This is what's happening in America right now.
Yet another 53-foot trailer was empty when it left for Bowling Green 4 minutes early.
We're seeing the mail being delayed daily.
Don Eggers has been with the Postal Service for 40 years and is vice president of the Postal Union. He
Trucks
says
being on
reducing
time
staff and sorting machines
is being
only
done
makes
for the
it harder
purpose
to
of
get
making
mail
sure
ready
that people
for those
lose
trucks.
confidence
This
in the
is
mail
where we
system,
would be feeding the mail
so that
into
they
the machine.
can have an excuse to take away people's rights to vote.
Because
It's insane what's happening.
We
Unbelievable.
showed Eggers photos we obtained of 2 sorting machines being dismantled inside the main post office on Royal Parkway, where most of Middle Tennessee's mail is sorted. In all,
the
5
state
of
of
the
Middle
facility's
Tennessee.
34 machines have been taken out of service recently. Why do you think those machines are being taken down?
I believe with a new Postmaster General.
He's like, you better stand really far away from me because you refuse to wear a mask.
Mail sorting
Put a
machines
condom on
across
that
the
mic.
country are being removed to make more room for packages as mail volume decreases while package delivery goes up.
Those machines, once they are out, they're not coming back.
And those aren't the only machines taken out of service. Until recently, Nashville had 3 machines capable of sorting oversized flat mail, such as mail-in ballots. But Jolly tells us one of those was just taken out, leaving the post office with no backup if the others fail. One of 3 machines capable of sorting ballots is out of operation.
Correct.
And what do you think of that?
I think it's dangerous.
DeJoy assured senators the postal system will be able to handle mail-in ballots nationwide and promised to stop removing sorting machines until after the election. But workers are concerned. Do you think he's trying to sabotage the Postal Service because of the election?
I don't want to say sabotage because that's a very severe word. But if things he wants done, the Postal Service is to do, yes, it's going to affect it.
Despite worker concerns, DeJoy
he's
told
saying,
Congress
so he's saying
Postal
as if the
Service
worst
can
hasn't been
handle
done
a
yet.
large number of mail-in ballots expected this presidential election. He strongly defended the changes he's making. Ben Hall, News Channel 5, investigates.
So that's just in Tennessee. Like there's in Dallas, pretty much they dismantled actually new sorting machines. They dismantled them. They weren't old, they were new ones, and they dismantled it. And then when the workers tried to put it together, they saw it was actually broken up enough that they couldn't put it back together. And that's Texas, Dallas, big city.
Yeah, some of the employees around the country are just saying, we don't give a fuck about Donald Trump trying to steal the election. We have work to do, and we're not going to break down the equipment that we use to do our jobs. We're not going to stop doing our jobs because this guy is scared that most of America can't stand him.
And I'm going to step back to a personal this anecdote. It's just like, I worked at the United States Post Office, like a seasonal job. And I can't imagine working there and then all of a sudden people telling you, tear up that, take that up. That's helping you. Take that off. You don't need that anymore. Like, imagine that happening on Christmas.
Remember where I used to work?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Imagine them going in there. You can't use that loading dock anymore. You only use this one door over here. Imagine them telling you to do less with more stuff. That's what pretty much they're telling people at the post office to do right now, which is
because they can't come out and actually say to people, we are shutting down the post office until the day after the election. Because it would be very clear exactly what the fuck they're doing. So what are they doing? All of this stuff is malfunctioning. You're ripping cords out of the wall, tearing shit down. Yeah, this stuff does it. Come on.
I saw pictures.
It doesn't work anymore. See?
Yeah, tearing it up. So this is what's happening right now. Like if you're a person that's dependent on stuff, are we gonna go back to the Pony Express? You just gotta hire somebody to
then
take
Trump
your
will
stuff
start
across the country.
Trump will start euthanizing all the horses.
So that's another reason why you should vote. So we have a next one. We play this next clip. This is the most wildest.
Vote, but if they're making it so you can't vote, then what the fuck are you gonna do?
And it's gonna be Kevin Costner at that point. So you play this clip right here. This clip is like the wildest thing I ever heard. This is like what he says. It's like bogus and outrageous.
Mr. Dan Bruyette. I'm bringing him in because we got those wildfires still raging in California. And Mr. Secretary, I've editorialized on this program that those fires have a lot to do with the renewable energy mandates that California insists on. Am I right?
Stuart, great to be with you.
You caught that, right? That
happening in California is
that went another direction real quick.
And they focus their investments there rather than on things like transmission lines and distribution lines, which in some cases may have caused some of these fires. But it's a case study, Stuart, in how not to approach our electricity grid and how not to approach the energy needs of this country. California's got a long history,
and it's showing the crude oil
energy policy. And I think we're seeing just the latest example of that.
They insist that X amount of electric power must be supplied by renewables, solar and wind. Unfortunately, the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow. So when you need a lot of extra power, they don't have it. So you get blackouts. Is there any sign that they would reverse?
When that's ever happened with renewable energy, people gotta show me when that happens.
Well, they need to do so very quickly, and I think that's made clear by the comments coming from their state utility commission, the former chair actually of their state utility commission. They've moved away from what's known as baseload power much too quickly and much too rapidly, and their entire strategy was to go to 100% renewables, wind and solar primarily, and then when needed, import power from neighboring states.
He's blaming the wildfires on renewable energy. energy
going to purchase
policies.
a car because I'm environmentally
The same Wildfires that we get every summer.
Friend's car if I ever need one. Well, that's
for
fine
as long as we can
until both
remember.
of you need it at the same time.
Because of the geography of the state, we've been getting wildfires
so it's hot not only
every
in
single year
California,
for
it's hot in Arizona and
decades.
Nevada. It's hot in other parts of the
But
West, and there's
an
no
event
power
that is
to send to
following
California. So we're
the
starting to
same
see these
trends
brownouts
that we've seen
Would
for
you say you
decades.
could extend this to
This
other
year is
states and
because
other
of
parts the
renewable
country?
energy.
Yes, you can have climate change mitigation. Yes, you can have renewable power mandates, but no, you can't always have a regular supply of electricity. Is it that simple?
It's pretty much that simple, Stuart. You just nailed it. And I think it's important that we recognize as we move away from things like nuclear power, as we move away from things like natural gas generation, baseload power that produces electricity 24/7, we make the energy security, we make it less secure for America. We make America less energy secure. And as a result, we make America less secure nationally. It's very important that we pay attention to this example in California. And as we look down the road, perhaps anticipate what some of the next steps may be. There are some in Congress who are arguing against technologies like fracking, which is producing enormous amounts of natural gas today.
Well,
I mean,
Joe Biden
earthquakes
says
and
he
people
would
set their
end
water on
all
fire and
fracking
stuff
on
like that.
federal lands, but the left wing of his party would go much, much further. AOC and Bernie Sanders, they don't want any fossil fuels at all. What do you think would be the impact on America?
How we go from wildfires to this AOC and Bernie Sanders? I'm not sure, but this is what they do sometimes.
But I will speak to some of the policies in Congress that I've seen before. And, you can call it the Green New Deal or whatever you'd like. But Stuart, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce tells us that if we get rid of this type of technology, which has made us the #1 oil and gas producer in the world, larger than Saudi Arabia, larger than Russia, we will lose in America 19 million jobs. Let that sink in, Stuart. If we get rid of this technology, 19 million jobs are lost in the energy industry.
That would be a rather large hit. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Good stuff. Thank you, sir.
All right,
Thank
so
you,
let's unpack this. Let's unpack this real quick. Okay. So the guy is trying to say that we should stay destroying the planet because we might lose 19 million jobs, right?
Yeah.
Now, you're trying to act like this is some kind of doomsday scenario when we already lost 2.5 times that amount with the Rona. We already know what 19 million jobs lost looks like in the form of 50 million jobs lost.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, to say that not using destructive forces that go boom to power your house is actually causing fires? Like, do you not know simple earth science, simple chemistry, shit that we learned in middle school, in high school? You have no clue what you're talking about, guy? Really?
The energy secretary.
He's the energy secretary.
He's responsible
what he sounds like
he's responsible for our nuclear weapons, pretty much.
But he sounds like he's the CEO for BP or Amoco. That's what he sounds like. He sounds like a shill. Oh, if we do things more efficiently and do them better, then we're going to be less energy secure. Wait, so you're telling me that ISIS is going to blow up the sun and that we're not going to get the wind on planet Earth?
He packed a lot in that. He was like national security, wildfires, military, everything was just all in that bunch. He just bunched everything. He was just like a speed into everything about why we need fossil fuels, pretty much, for the oil companies.
I don't understand that at all. I don't get it. Fracking technology. No, you're drilling into unstable parts of the earth, causing irreparable damage to the entire environment, to fauna, to plants. I'm at a loss for words, man. Do you have to be that obvious about your special interests that you represent?